G'day everybody, welcome back. So I'm going to Phillip Island for the Island Classics in January. And I'm taking the XS1100, but I need to do a few little jobs on it before I can go. And one of them is to rebuild the starter motor. The starter motor that was in the bike worked really well, but it failed on me a couple of months ago. And I pulled it apart and discovered it was full of engine oil. And all I did was just clean it all out and put it back in again, and away it went for another few months, and then it's died again. Lucky for me, I have a spare starter, so I threw that in the bike, but it doesn't fill me with confidence because it's quite grumbly when you hit the start button and it overruns and what have you. So I'm going to try and resurrect the old starter motor. So the point of failure was an oil seal that is housed in this housing here. This guy. So it's just a lip seal, and this is as hard as woodpecker lips. It is absolutely rock solid. So it's a 1732-7. And I've bought the wrong bloody seal. Okay, I've bought the wrong seal. I'll have to go and buy another one. That's the end of this. Alright, so it would appear that it's only an odd sized seal if you order the wrong size seal. In my defence, this is the right one. So we now have the right seal. In my defence, I had to go to this particular supplier for something for work, and I didn't have the old seal with me, and I was going off memory, which isn't that brilliant. So I ordered a 17 by 37 by 7 seal, and they said, oh, it's an odd size, and we can only get it in a Viton. It's going to cost you $500,000. I said, order it. And then it turns out they're as common as muck, and there were 7 of these on the shelf at the supplier. So these are a 32, so 17 by 32 by 7 seal. So the old one, as I said, hard as woodpecker lips, and we need to replace it with a new one. I've also got a new pair of brushes for this one. But the first thing we need to do is get rid of all this oil. They don't run when they're filled with engine oil. So I'm just going to clean these parts up. We'll fit some new brushes, put a new seal in it, and it should be Bob's nephew. Ta-da! All the bits are clean. I'm sure you don't need a blow-by-blow 19-minute montage on how to clean something. If you do, there's other channels for that. So yeah, nothing's changed there. You just get some parts cleaner and a brush and elbow grease, and away you go. So we don't need that guy. He's wrong. But we do want to put new brushes in. I bought these from Yamaha. You can buy them online, but you know, in my view, if you can get them from the dealership and they're not stupid money, you should get them from the dealership. Just my opinion. Now there's 2 different brushes, obviously. One of them is positive, one is a negative. The insulated one is obviously the positive one. So on the housing there, you got to make sure you put them in the right spot, basically. There's a little watch spring in there as well. And these are fairly simple, no soldering, they're just screwed in. So I might actually just relocate to the vise to do this because it's probably a little bit more secure. It shouldn't be too onerous.
There's a little watch spring in the back there, what holds the brush in against the commutator. So I'm just going to pop him back out of the way. There's the old one, and we can compare him to the new one. There's quite a, they're still pretty good. Like, they're not completely doomed, but I figured while I was going through this, I might as well do this at the same time. Right. And the same on the other side. Of course, we've released it from the winding there. Well, had me a bit worried for a sec. I thought it might have dropped out, broken something, but it didn't. This one's got quite a bit more wear and tear on it. No harm, no foul. Should go without saying that I'm using a JIS screwdriver, not a Phillips. Well, it's a Phillips, but it's a JIS Phillips. Japanese industrial standard. New brushes fitted. Alright, so that's that bit. The next thing I want to do is assemble this nose section, this planetary gearbox piece with the new bearing, etc. There is a little pin that fits in here, prevents that ring gear from rotating. Don't lose that, it falls out fairly easily. Yep. Obviously we need a bearing. I'm just going to put a bit of engine oil in there if it ever decides to pump up. There she goes. Because that's what it's going to run on. The open side faces the motor. We need our seal. So you place the side that has the spring on it to the side that the oil is that you're trying to keep out. So this will go to the engine side. This is the engine side, so this seal needs to go in first. It needs to go down into here. And press down reasonably easy with my hand. I'm not going to force it. So I'm going to put that on the engine side, and I'm going to use brute force and ignorance. I'll just use the vise as a press. So the bearing, just push the seal down with it. Happy days. There is a spring clip that goes in here to retain the bearing. Just like that. Okay, our shaft, there's a series of shims that came off of this shaft. These ones here are the right diameter to fit over there. So they go on first. I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on it. pop him down in there, goes in a bush. And then we need to press him into the bearing. There's also these shims here, which go on there. And this is the sprocket. This goes on the spline. And there is a circlip here. Now I don't have small enough circlip pliers here. Got them at work. But needs must. I'll try and use the wrong-sided circlip pliers to do it. There we go. I'm using internal circlip pliers to fit an external circlip. Right. Good, 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 good. Right. Now, when the commutator comes through, this sits like so. The armature, I mean. So what I'm going to do now is put these planetary gears in. Now, I noticed when I was cleaning it up that it had some molly grease in there. So we'll put some back. Had a fair bit in there actually. That seal's a bit cactus. I was going to buy from on eBay. I found there's a guy in Queensland, calls himself Jono's Motorcycle Spares or something. He's got a store on eBay. He sells complete rebuild kits for these starters. So you get everything. You get this seal. You get the oil seal. I just replaced this seal, by the way. Sits on here. So let's do that now while we've got it on our hot little hand. You get all the bearing seals, everything that you need to do this job, brushes as well. I found it when I was searching for brushes. But it's not super cheap, like I think it's 130 Australian dollars. But you get everything that you need. I didn't bother with it because I just wanted brushes and a cheap seal. However, and when I spoke to him, he said that it's a generic rebuild kit for these starter motors which are used on other bikes. So there's some parts that are not common to the XS. So you're buying bits that you don't actually need. So I made the decision to not buy them. But, you know, just know that they are out there, I guess. Right, we're getting there. We're nearly there. I'm going to put a little bit of these shims go this next lot of shims just go on the end of the armature here. I'm just going to put a little bit of molly on the, there's also a shim down there, don't lose them. And that guy goes onto there. Might just put a little bit of molly on that as well. Our pin, let's not forget him. Righto, very good. So I'm going to pop him in here now. Push our new brushes back out of the way. There's a little notch on there to help you line that up. The recess in the housing has to line up with that pin. So Now I've got to figure out, so that's at the top. Yeah, pretty sure this is the right orientation. Maybe not. That's better. So what I'm looking for is lining up the screw holes, obviously. So that's pretty well all together with the exception of the retaining screws. So let's very gently and carefully pop them in. Right, through the pigsty and try and find the right screwdriver through the empire of dirt, as AVE would say. I don't know whether it's a number 2 or a number 3. I reckon a number 3. This is a number 2 screwdriver. They're pretty mullered, those screws. Someone's had a good go at them. Twint me. That's better. It's a better fit. Better fit. Right. One more thing to do. Rubber grease, new O-ring. Let's go put it on, eh? Right, before we swap this bad boy out, I'll give you a listen to this starter. Yeah, it pulls the current right down. It's really, really grumbly. Overruns. So I'm going to disconnect the battery now, and we'll throw the new one in and then we'll see what that's like. Out with the old, in with the new. I always remember later with the XS1100 it's easier to fit and remove this starter lead when you have the starter still out of the bike. Right, that's better. Rightio. That sounds a damn sight better. Alright. That's it. I nearly wasn't even going to film that. I hope you got something out of it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll catch you next time on Andy's Motorcycle Obsessions. Bye for now.